still went to the voters and gave them the opportunity to say, we're going to put this up for referendum.
Right.
We'll put out the facts and let the voters decide.
Something of that magnitude is so critical to have the voters vote on.
Exactly.
I feel strongly about that.
Right.
So that's what we did. This was the year 1998, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. And then we established this shared service with Westchester County. We went to the county executive, the county board, and they were supportive. We're the only municipality in Westchester County that does this, by the way.
So you thought you were thinking out of the box. It wasn't conventional. You had to come up with creative ways, creative ideas in order to make this work.
A new police plan.
Right.
We have more police officers now serving our community than we did before. And what we had before was a very, very small police department that was only established in 1980, by the way.
Right.
So it hadn't been here for decades.
Right.
And several of those officers, men and women, were either going out on disability or workman's comp. And so in lieu of backfilling their positions, and we decided that we'd come up with a new police plan. We did so with a referendum vote in the state police headquarters. It's half paid for, by the way. The Cortland taxpayers do not pay for it. That's an important point to make.
Right.
It's paid for by the New York State Police, even though we borrowed and bonded for them.
Right.
All right, that's an important point, because I've been asked that question many times. But then we dissolved our small police department. We helped get them positions elsewhere. Several of them we helped get jobs with the Westchester County Police, some security guards, and some did go out on the 207C Disability Act. Okay, so that was one way that we saved money. We pay $600,000 a year to Westchester County for our police services, as opposed to other communities that pay anywhere from $5 to $10 million a year for police coverage.
Which is a big impact on these small budgets. We're not small anymore, but you know, on these budgets, it's a big percentage of their budget.
Oh, it's tremendous.
So, right, exactly.
And it would have to grow every year, so we don't have to buy the police cars and the equipment. It's paid for by these other entities, all right? And we share them for our constituents. And it's worked out really well over the last 9 years now, and we've been able to save a lot of money. So that's one way, shared services, to have the vision to come up with new ideas and to think out of the box, as you said.
Right, because even now, like, for example, Rethink Westchester is one of these where it either limits, like, for example, their big thing is where they either want to limit county government or increase shared services, or actually to reduce county government, which I don't know if you can go that far. There's the pros and cons.
Some things that we would need more stuff on.
Right.
But you can do this consolidation and sharing services that we've done.
Right, but this is
another example.
But this is an offshoot just now. You're talking about this back in '96 and '98.
We did this in the 1990s, exactly. And one of the other things, you know, unfunded mandates, you've heard about that.
Right.
Well, every municipality had a mandate from the EPA to filter their water. So in lieu of just the town of Cortland building a water filtration plant, we went to our neighbors in Yorktown and Somers, and also with a small district called Montrose Improvement District, and we did it jointly. We formed a consortium, and so we saved about $8 million on this mandate. We have filtered water, we have 2 backup systems, and it's worked out wonderfully for all of our communities. So that was something that we did also that was innovative.
Now, is that the one that's located right off Route 6?
That's correct.
Right by where, I guess you could call it, just south, or I should say west of ShopRite. It's on the left-hand side.
That's correct. That's a brand new building.
Brand new facility.
And it's a Northern Westchester Joint Water Works, it's called.
So they feed out, they collect the water and then they feed it out to all 3, 4 of these municipalities or townships?
That's correct.
Oh, I see. So everything is run out of that one right there.
And we met the unfunded mandate.
Right.
And we saved collectively about $8 million as opposed to doing it ourselves.
So that was DEP. So that was the state came in and said required that?
That came from
Federal?
the EPA.
Oh, EPA.
Right.
So
Environmental Protection Agency from the federal government.
So that's federally
we had that mandate in 1992. So we started talking about it. Of course, it took a few years to get all the legal aspects of it taken care of, and the design work and engineering work for the plants.
Sure, it makes sense, because each individual town, I'm sure it would have been astronomical if each one took it on.
Unbelievable.
But collectively, it made it, you know, reasonable.
Unbelievable. Also, our paramedics,
I was just going to say that. That's
life
right.
support.
That's right.
We have a consortium with the City of Peekskill, Village of Buchanan, for our services. The services come out of the Hudson Valley Hospital Center, as you know, which is terrific. is in the town of Cortland, services the whole region.
Sure,
All
it's
right.
central to those three
It's
areas
totally central.
too.
They're
Yes.
expanding, and
Right.
of course we support that as well. They do
Right.
a great job. Anyway, the paramedics, they augment all of our wonderful volunteers, the EMTs, the ambulance workers, the firefighters, and they work cohesively together to service our community. They're terrific.
Oh, sure.
Another example of sharing services and working together, and therefore reducing the costs to our taxpayers.
So maybe for that year, you didn't reflect immediately that year, but then going forward in 2 and 3 and 4 and 5,
Yeah.
that's where you make up the
Most
difference.
definitely.
Exactly.
Most definitely. And
So
you have to plan. You have
a little bit of vision, a little bit, and
Right.
a lot of planning and a lot of hard work
a
that
lot of
goes on
planning.
behind the
Exactly,
scenes.
a lot of planning. Obviously, you have a one-year annual budget that I come out with publicly, and then the town board reviews with the department head, and then a public hearing from the citizens, and that's for 1 year. But we also have 5-year plans. We have a local law where we have a 5-year capital plan where we develop these plans from concept to completion.
Well, there was even, like, for example, in that time period, I know you've even, the purchase of property, so you could set it aside from active property to a parkland or just where, the one that comes to mind, I was having the conversation with your fellow councilman, John Sloan, when it was, I even called it the Scallon property going way back.
Oh, that goes back?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
That dates you, right?
Well, I think.
Or it dates me.
Yeah.
You're a little bit younger than I am. So that was in the mid-1980s, believe it or not. Mr. Scanlon owned the property, and he wanted to build 1,200 houses
units
on the property that is called affectionately the Hill Point property,
Right.
but now it's a gateway to the Hudson Highlands Park. Briefly, succinctly, if I may.
Sure.
352 acres, a developer, Mr. Ginsberg, he won't mind if I use his name because he was part of this partnership.
Right.
He was before the planning board to build 352 units.
Units, correct.
Okay. And if you've ever walked the property, I have, up to the summit. It's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. It's very steep.
Yeah,
You could not envision 352 homes
units,
there,
right.
and on this property in the northern. It's in the northern part of the town.
Problems with runoff,
Yeah,
problems with
runoff.
septic systems, problem with, and again, the list goes,
Affecting
water,
the schools and
school,
the
right.
emergency services providers
Getting back
and
and
town
forth. Yeah,
services.
it's a very
et cetera.
hilly terrain.
So we went to Mr. Ginsberg, I did, and I asked him if he'd give me a period of time to put together a partnership and have it appraised, which we legally have to do, by the way, and buy the property. He said, well, I wish you a lot of luck, go ahead, try it, We were successful.
He never thought it was going to happen.
He didn't think it was going to occur. And so he was in the part of the process before the planning board where they were reviewing what's called the EIS. Okay. So I went to the state. Former Governor Pataki was the governor at the time, county executive, Andy Spano. Our town board was all behind it, by the way. Scenic Hudson, not-for-profit group,
Right.
private citizens, even Mr. Ginsberg waived $100,000 at the end. The appraisal price was for $6 million. The town put in $1 million cash. Believe it or not, this was 1999. And the other entities put in millions of dollars as well to meet the appraisal price, of which the developer approved. So you have to have a willing
Right.
property owner to do this as
Yeah,
well.
but you have to have both sides of
And
this
now we
in
have a
agreement.
terrific
Yes.
committee that has trail systems to hike this beautiful piece of property. And we've done that elsewhere, geographically spread throughout the town, including the Steamboat Dock area in the lovely hamlet of Verplank. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Domenic, we have balanced the open space and the parkland needs and desires of the community with our support of businesses and smart, rational growth and economic growth in the town. For example, I supported the expansion of the Cortland Town Center.
Right.
Recently, there's a Panera's Bread that just moved in there, which
That's right.
I go to. I'm sure your family does as well.
Right, yep.
And things like that. And of course, the golf course, the Hollowbrook Golf Course off of Oregon Road is a real nice asset to the community. We made sure that the high school golf teams were able to play there for free. And then it's also public-private. So 2 afternoons a week, you can go there as a Cortland resident
Right.
for a reduced price to play golf.
Once again, benefiting the town of Cortland
Right.
residents.
Exactly. And it was something that we
Extremely.
wanted the